time. It's time. It's time. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy. Yeah. 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 It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time.
How the fuck you got me up this damn early, Jason?
It's time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah.
Thanks, babe. Appreciate the backup. As you can see, my cohorts are lazy as fuck and once again not in the building. So here we go. Just me tonight, at least for the start anyway. Oh, look at that. Somebody pops in to save the day. Let's welcome real quick the TSS Jester. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Hello, everyone. Once again, it's TSS. Just to follow me on Twitter for all the daily little spiels and little things I find out. Keep you informed daily.
Indeed, and we'll keep up to date on his betting record as well. We know that at least the Jets bet did not go as planned. All right, everyone,
Ouch.
Thank you so much for visiting us tonight. Don't forget, check us out, tssfantasy.com. Check out all of our current rankings, all of our latest shows, everything TSS, including our store. Nick is still in Vegas, probably foggy to say the least, after the whooping that he got out there. We do have some. I do have some Flander reports, but I'll wait for tomorrow when he's on to play those live from Las Vegas. So we have some stuff to show. Anyway, don't forget to check us out, tssfantasy.com. Also, Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. We have all the great Belly Up Sports podcasts on there, from wrestling to racing, baseballs, everything. They got it. Also, we're talking about now having an AM Sunday lineup, so check out news on that. We're going to have all the great shows set up for you. Obviously, you start with us with Wake Up TSS Fantasy, and we'll see what the rest of the lineup looks like, but check in back with us for that. Also, check us out on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. We're on it. We'll take your lineup questions, anything like that. Also, Unhinged Radio, 24/7 Sports Radio Network, has all the great Belly Up Sports podcast networks on there. So it's 24/7, working in the garage, driving in the car. Make us part of your morning commute. We are the fantasy show of the people. All right, Fred. Let's get it on, man. It's the end of the crazy Sunday. So we'll talk about some news that happened over the weekend. Wasn't a lot of crazy stuff, but let's talk about Darren Waller for a second. I don't know. I mean, I went on the show talking about it. I talked to Dr. Miller about, all the injured players. And then all of a sudden, he popped up somewhere where I saw he was questionable. And then I started watching the Raiders game. He's not even playing. I mean, that's the craziest thing. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Especially being such a late game too.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I had a lot of people in a frenzy looking for a replacement so late. It was it came out of nowhere. I mean, I found out through somebody that was in my league. He's like, "Oh my God, I forgot about taking out Waller," and I was like, "What's wrong with Waller?" So it just surprised me.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I said, it just came out of the blue. It was just kind of popped up on the injury report. It didn't seem that to be that big of a deal. And then all of a sudden he was a no-go. So I feel
you know what's wrong with him?
No, I really, that's why I put under mystery. I forget. I did hear what it was. But again, my bad. I didn't even write it down because I just put mystery because it was such a big mystery. Crazy stuff went on. So anyway, also Miles Sanders, when we're talking about Mr. Flanders over in Las Vegas, went out of the game in the first half and did not return. So obviously the impact of Kenneth Gainwell or Boston Scott this week, they're going to be your waiver wire targets if Kenneth Gainwell isn't already picked up. But definitely I can be up on Boston Scott because we're not sure how long Miles Sanders will be out with the ankle sprain. Thoughts on the impact of that onto the Eagles team, Fred?
this Eagles team is messed up, man. I mean, he was doing okay. He was averaging 5 yards per carry. He was 6 attempts, 30 yards. It wasn't like he was having a bad day. And then it just got hurt. I mean, I don't understand. They don't even run the ball enough to get hurt. So I don't understand this. But yeah, I mean, he got hurt. Gainwell's probably the pickup to do if he's not already picked up, just like you said. And most people picked him up a couple of weeks back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, if you were listening to us, we told you they were using him a lot, especially in the passing game. So he definitely should be on some of y'all's rosters already. All right. I'm backing up a little bit because I feel like I grabbed something out of the closet. I feel like I'm a waiter tonight. So I feel like I'm going to take somebody's order here in a minute. Josh Jacobs, he went out with a chest injury during this game. So obviously a big uptick for Kenyan Drake in this matchup. But it looks like they're on a bye this week, and it looks like he's going to be set to return for the following game. But that was an interesting thing that happened, and it was funny to see how Kenyan Drake stepped up finally for the Raiders.
Yeah, definitely. I have Josh Jacobs in one of my leagues. Thank God he scored the touchdown before he went out. I think got me some points. I mean, I'm looking at the stats now: 6 for 20, 6 carries, 29 yards. Him too. He was averaging 5 yards per carry. Got a quick touchdown, and then boom, he gets hurt. So hopefully, it doesn't seem like it's too serious. Like you said, they get a nice week break. But Kenyan Drake, he held it down, man. 4.9 yards a carry, a touchdown, and then he caught a couple of passes. I mean, there was his time to shine, and he did his job.
Yeah, we talked about him in the offseason. He hasn't come to play like we said he was gonna, but this week he finally did show up, and he did do some work in, put some work in finally. So let's talk about somebody near and dear to you, Zach Wilson with the knee injury. Man, I mean that game was just oof. I just kept looking up. Like, what is going on? Is that still happening? So at least out a couple weeks, impact on the Jets, and what an ugly game, bro.
I watched the whole terrible game, and usually we step up on defense. At least the defense holds us down. It did not work, especially with CJ Mosley out. They ran up the middle at will, threw passes up the middle. Now, I heard today that Zach Wilson's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So what the Jets went and did is they go trade a 6th-round conditional draft pick for Joe Flacco. Okay. Hey. Which I'm okay with it if they would have done it at the beginning of the season to mentor Zach Wilson.
Right.
So now we're just plugging this guy in, and well, hopefully we keep him for the rest of the year. Hopefully he does become a mentor to Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson needs somebody to mentor him.
Yeah, I mean, well, just real quick, just as an update, in Monday Night Football, Jameis Winston picks up a fumble off the ground, throws it to Kamara for a 13-yard touchdown reception. Touchdown, Saints. Yeah, so Zach Wilson, man, that was just horrible. But my question for the Jets is, why not Cam Newton? I don't understand it. Like, and especially like somebody who really want to stick it to the Patriots. You guys played them twice already, though?
Yes, we did. And I think the reasoning behind that is Cam wants to be a starter. Flacco already knows his role. It's a backup. Let's mentor the guy. He ain't going to do too much damage.
That makes sense, then. Then that makes sense. All right. So Jonnu Smith looks like an AC joint in the same matchup. He went out, AC joint sprain. It looked like a Hunter Henry, I believe, caught one for a TD in that game. So, somebody, if he's not picked up, might be somebody to look for now. Hunter Henry's going to be the only target in that tight end slot that Bill Belichick likes to look at. So your thoughts on that, Fred?
I thought Jonnu Smith was doing pretty good. I see when he caught the big pass, I was like, okay, we're going to have a big night. I have him in another league. We just in so many leagues, I can't keep track. But, I was watching. I was like, oh, heck yeah. I mean, it gets my Jets, but we're going to score a lot. And then, boom, another injury. I mean, I think it's starting to – the last 2 seasons have been really bad with injuries, and these NFL players are getting affected. I mean, it's affecting their play. So maybe I don't know, man. Maybe they need the extra preseason game, because it's been horrible. Yeah,
well, Jonnu Smith's injury prone. I mean, we so far, he's still young too, but he's been injury prone. Hasn't played in a lot of games, and to me, I didn't have a lot of high expectations for him anyway. To be quite frank, so Hunter Henry, like I said, he's the guy going forward. Again, AC joint. It says two weeks, could be longer though. With sprains, they do re-aggravate, and it could be a longer injury. Who knows?
Well,
Malcolm Brown. Go ahead.
Whoever has the running backs for New England this weekend, they made it, boy. They got some points between Damien Harris and
Brandon
even some
Bolden.
guy named J.J. Taylor with 2 touchdowns.
And Brandon Bolden and PPR had a huge game. So yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec. Malcolm Brown for the Dolphins, he's hurt with a quad injury. So believe it or not, Myles Gaskin made another miraculous appearance this week and did some fantasy work. And he's been on the bench for a lot of people. So a lot of people got it. But now this week, not a good matchup, but he could be one of the only guys going other than Ahmed, so he might be a decent play against the Bills this week. We'll just have to see. I don't know. Well, I haven't looked at my rankings yet, so I might caution myself on that.
Hey, my son has Myles Gaskin, and he was talking about what have a good week and a bad week. I'm not starting him. Then the man gets 67 yards rushing, and he catches a touchdown. He gets 10. I mean, what do you have? 13, 14 points in standard plus some, and I mean, we just don't know what to do with Myles Gaskin. He just keeps us guessing. I just don't know.
He's been up and down for sure, to say the least. So hopefully this might be a trend, though, for him. Might see a few games by himself with a lot more, receptions and carries. All right. Oh, sound effects. All right. Tyrod Taylor is back at practice. So I know you just said don't sleep on David Mills, but Tyrod Taylor's back to claim his spot. Hey, listen, he was playing pretty decent before he got hurt. We know what Tyrod Taylor does, and he was finding Brandon Cooks a lot before. So that's going to bring Brandon Cooks' value up as Tyrod Taylor comes back. So I do like that. Hopefully that'll be coming up soon, we hope. Yeah, all right, let's talk about this week's waiver wire additions. It's not a huge week because, not a lot of buys. We only have the Ravens and the Raiders. So if you've made it through by Mageddon, unhinged, congratulations, because this week is very light. We only have the Ravens and Raiders on bye this week, so we only got a couple of guys they have to really be concerned about. So when you're looking at your waiver wire stuff, again, depending if you had Lamar Jackson, if you're going to look at some of these quarterbacks to pick up, you have Trevor Lawrence coming off the bye this week, so he could, he's put up some decent games for you, so he might be somebody you might want to look at for a plug and play this week. Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, this is a bad matchup this week against the Bills. However, at the same time, garbage time, garbage minutes, they may need to catch up. However, last time they were down, again, that's when Tua got hurt. They put up the donut against the Bills in Miami. So again, I'm not sure if he'd be a solid play, but might be somebody you want to pick up just to add some depth in your QB spot. Daniel Jones, now he's interesting. I don't know if you saw that catch that he had, but
he left one-handed.
Shoo! That's a cold-ass honky for real. What a great catch. Great job. I mean, we've talked about Daniel Jones all offseason. He's fallen out of our favor, but looks like he's back in it. What are your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
Man, I don't want to hear any Giants fans blaming their season on Daniel Jones. I don't want to hear that anymore. The guy passes. Look, what he had this week? He still had 200 yards passing. He didn't throw no interceptions, threw a touchdown, and then he goes and runs for 16 yards. He receives 1 for 16, and he still runs the ball. I mean, the guy's doing what he can. It's his third or fourth season. It's not his fault. This time I'm blaming the coaches and all the injuries to the Giants. Daniel Jones is trying.
There is some breaking NFL news as well. Thank you for having the TV on, Mary Jane Cooper, because Davante Adams has been put on the COVID IR list. So just a heads up. Listen, and guess what? They play this Thursday, so he's definitely not. And it really stinks because this could have been an amazing game. It's going to be an amazing game. It's still going to be good. But listen. Waiver wire targets. I didn't add them, not to put them in because everybody else, receiving wise, you could take
Tunyon, Lazard,
Cobb, take a pick. Pick some of them up because guess who they play? The Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
What a great game it's going to be, and I would definitely grab some Packer
Let me say
receivers.
something. I am finally super excited to watch a third. I might stay up, even though I get up early, 5:30. I might stay up that whole game. That is something that you're waiting for. Two big time contenders, possible NFC championship. Can't go wrong watching the Kyler Murray potential MVP versus Rodgers Super Bowl MVP before. Great game.
I know. I can't wait. We will
Excited.
definitely have a nice breakdown of that at some point. I'm super excited. There's another good matchup this weekend too. There's a few good ones actually. So we'll get into that. But to say the least, that's a big news for everybody. So again, Damonte Adams out. Also, they made mention that it looked like, and I forgot to mention this during the news, looked like Pat Mahomes did clear concussion protocol, so he looked like he should be able to go. But that was a nasty game indeed. All right, let's get back to it. Talk about waiver wire targets. Tyrod Taylor again. We talked about he's back at practice. Again, if he'd be a plug and play eventually down the line for you, or at least add some depth for you. Tyrod Taylor was playing decent before he went out. Running back wise, Eli Mitchell is back. It looks like he's going to be the guy in San Francisco, but again, who the heck knows what goes on?
It's San Francisco, man.
I would definitely add him. They like him, and they talked about him in the offseason. So somebody definitely to add. Like I said, I just don't know how confident I would be starting him each week. You know what I mean? So Kenneth Gainwell, we've already talked about him. We've already talked about Scott as well. So two guys to definitely add, be in your waiver wire. I'm definitely going to put it a high priority for Gainwell if he's not rostered already. Brandon Bolden, he's become the new James White in New England. I mean, you said you watched the whole thing. What'd you think of Brandon Bolden?
No comment. We got whooped. Why are you doing this to me? Pass. I don't want to talk about this.
Hey, we bring you on the show. We love to torture. That's for sure. All right. Talking about some other guys, Sanjay Perine had a decent game.
You know what? He's been a sneaky play lately. Every other week, he's putting up big points. So they're starting to use their running back, Cincinnati, like Cleveland over there with that big two. I'm starting to watch Sanjay Perine a little bit.
That whole Bengals offense is nasty. I'm really impressed with them. For them to do what they did against Baltimore, who was coming out, that looked like, old school AFC North. That's what we talked about. It started that way, and then all of a sudden, boy, it got that one pass to Jamar Chase, and he just
oh my God.
Boy. Man, he's
sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good. He's making me look real smart, putting him as a top 10 receiver this season. That's for me.
We ain't seen this stuff. I guess they were comparing him to like Moss's rookie year when he came out and started doing all this crazy catches. But really quick about Samaje. He had one less rush than Mixon, 7 less yards. They both had touchdowns, but he's in the passing game. So we got to see what's going to happen with the Mixon Perine thing. If it's starting to be equal, might as well use them.
Listen, if I'm the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, knowing the history of Joe Mixon, I would for sure be mixing this up. No pun intended, mixing with the mixin. But you got to mix it up a little bit and not put him full. He's going to get hurt. So don't give him as many carries. Limit him a little bit. That way you have a healthy Joe Mixon in late in the season versus on your bench not doing nothing for you guy.
Correct.
Keeping in that offense, I mean, I'm going to skip around a little bit, but I have to bring this guy up because it's very important to me because I have to at least say it's been said, and we talked about this dude actually in the offseason, way back when we did our deep dive tight ends. We briefly talked about this guy, CJ Uzuma. Listen, this is not the first time. He was the number 1 tight end this week, and it's not the first time it has happened where he was the number 1 overall tight end. I think this might be for real. This is, like I said, we're talking about a dynamic offense. You talked about them using the running game. We just talked about Jamar Chase having a huge game. So much going on in this offense. That's a definite add for me, CJ. Who you got, friend?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I'm looking at his stats. The last 5 games, he's got 5 touchdowns, 2, 0, 1, 2. I mean, how can you go wrong? He catches all his targets. He catches all all his targets. If I'm the Bengals, I'm going to give him 3 or 4 more targets because he doesn't drop the ball. He does not drop the ball.
Yeah, and a big target at that. So definitely something to enjoy for sure if you are looking for a tight end to stream. All right, so also Russell Gage. I mean, I wanted to bring him up real quick. He finally made a showing. I know we had some people kind of razz our show a little bit a few times because we talked about Russell Gage in the offseason, being the guy stepping up, but just hasn't come to fruition. So he did finally make some noise this week against my horrible Dolphins. Anybody else you're eyeing up for the waiver wire, Fred?
I'm looking for a running back. Maybe Devontae Booker if he's still out there for the Giants. I mean, they have nobody. I'm looking for a running back this week. So I might see if Devontae Booker's out there or the other guy we talked about earlier. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry, guys. But I definitely have to find somebody. I have Josh Jacobs, and he's on a bye.
Yes. So again, Brandon Bolden might not be a bad play for you.
Bolden.
I know that he's probably out there as well. So there's some guys definitely you could probably plug and play for you this week. Last week, I probably doubt he's available, but Dearness Johnson, obviously.
That guy's been a monster, right?
Yeah,
oh my God.
That played in very well. Now, I don't know. It's going to be interesting what they do now. With Hunt gone, are they going to use Cedric Felton as the Hunt role, or are they going to just use Dearness Johnson and the way he played and just, use him as Hunt? So it'll be interesting to see how they work that out. All right, so again, there's some other guys out there, but most of them should be picked up. I'll just make mention Rashad Bateman. He's somebody to look out for if he's not already picked up. Nico Collins has kind of stepped up in the receiving game in the Texans a bit, so somebody else to look out for as well. And Cole Clement, the tight end at the Bears, somebody else to also target as well if you're looking for a tight end to stream possibly. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about the big fantasy studs, I guess, if you will, for this upcoming week. We'll talk about it. We're right back.
Hey, Flanders here. Do you want to learn how to defend yourself, become more confident, and be more fit? If so, I recommend John Emmons Taekwondo in Kissimmee, Florida. At this dojang, you will learn an old art for a modern age under the tutelage of an 8th degree black belt master, John Emmons. If you want the martial arts to be part of your life and you value hard work with high quality results at reasonable prices, then John Emmons Taekwondo is the place for you. They can be found at EmmonsTaekwondo.com, and you can call them at 407-931-1118. John Emmons Taekwondo is our #1 pick for self-defense, and we are the fantasy show of the people.
Taekwondo.
All right, let's move on. I don't know what's going on. We've lost control. All right, actually, I forgot. There was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to segment this out correctly. We did talk about waiver pickups. So now let's talk about people we can drop in our Flander flaps. All right, well, Nick's probably flopping around over in Vegas right now, that's for sure. All right, here's some guys you could possibly drop that are on your roster that have been there and you thought they could do something, but they just ain't performing. Remember in the offseason, we had this big discussion about Justin Fields and, how great he's going to be when he got on the field after Andy Dalton. He's get out of my way. Let's get this guy on the field. I mean, yesterday, that looked like – well, I can't even say. I don't even want to say the University of Miami anymore. But that was like Cal State versus Alabama. I mean, that's what it was going. Justin Fields was just not. That was just bad, bro. Just didn't look perfect. He wouldn't even look like a professional at all at that point. So to me, drop him. Sam Darnold also, had a resurgence, but starting to now regress. Again, looked well, but, to start for a few games, but it's just, not looking good for Sam going forward. Mike Davis.
Oh,
Look,
my God.
it's Cordell Patterson's show, bro. It's Cordell's team.
What did, what happened to everybody? Oh, he's going to finally show. But we talked about it on this show before the season. And we talked about how nobody knew about him last year, how he shot up. But toward the end of the season, he was trickling down. And he showed nothing this year. I mean, you have Patterson taking a job, basically. They step to the side. What do you have? One carry? Man, get rid of him.
Basically, Cordell whispered in Mike Davis's ear, I'm the captain now. I mean, that's what's going on over in
oh, my God. 4 carries. Like,
right.
God.
I mean, and that's against Miami's putrid run D. So, listen, and that was I meant to mention that too. That was the one thing I thought Mike Davis might get off a little bit because we're susceptible to that run right up the middle. I mean, I didn't even see it. It was like they just if it was anything up the middle, it was Cordell. And he was definitely hitting the hole hard. It wasn't like it looked like some timid receiver running through there. He looks like a running back. I mean, it's the real deal.
What a change of life for Cordell Patterson.
I know.
You're a receiver. You okay. Now they just handing you the job. You're going to run. You're going to and he is taking full advantage of it. Good for you, Cordell Patterson.
Listen, what's really cool is that, this, I heard it on another show. They made a great point. I don't remember what show. I apologize. I can't remember what show it was. But they said it wasn't like this is a different Cordell Patterson, like he got any better. It's still the same dude. You just have a coach now that knows how to use them. I mean, hello, that's what you want to do, right? I mean, that's just great coaching. So good stuff man. There. All right, so some other guys. Tyler Boyd, I mean, he had that one great game, that PPR game where it was just him all day. But, right now it's just looking like Jamar Chase, CJ Uzuma, the running backs you mentioned. So he'd be droppable. I don't know. I put him on there now. I'm thinking, I don't know if I drop him, but Jacoby Myers. Now he's interesting. I'm a Jacoby Myers owner, so I get this. And if I'm not in a PPR league, I am totally dropping Jacoby Myers. He can't even sniff the end zone. I know last week he got in, but got a penalty called back. I mean, it's just not destined for him to have a big game at any point. So anyway, he's droppable. Unless you're in a week where you're missing somebody, you need some points. Like you don't want to risk big points. He's somebody you could go for a at least a low ceiling, low floor as well. Brandon Ayuk. I mean, it's Brandon Ayuk. I mean, for real.
Man, people were high on him, so high. What happened to him, man?
It's Deebo Samuel took over, and I don't know. It was like they don't even see that guy anymore, and I don't know what's going on. He's suffering from Odell syndrome.
Did you see when he caught the ball and he flipped him?
It's just sometimes it's just not your year sometimes. Robbie Anderson, we talked about Sam Darnold. That might be his biggest problem. You have DJ Moore, who's a consistently good receiver, and just Robbie Anderson can't get away from nobody anymore. So, not a big Robbie Anderson fan, and it just hasn't come to fruition this year. So I definitely would take the drop on him. Here's somebody else people were high on. He had a lot of talk about Trey Sermon. I mean, we heard so much about this guy, the rookie running back sensation. I mean, what's going on here? I don't even know what's happening at this point. So,
Trey Sermon. Did he even run the ball yesterday?
I think he might have. I don't know if he played.
I don't think he didn't even play.
Yeah, the running back situation in the 40. I think right now it's the Eli Mitchell show. I think that's who they're going to go going forward. But again, you just never know. There might be a week or two that Trey Sermon may pop up. But why put him on your roster if he's dead weight at this point? Yeah. Darnell Mooney, last guy I have on there. Again, I feel like I'm matching my quarterbacks to receivers. He hasn't shown up. He has shown flashes in the past, but just not showing up this year. I think that's also with Allen Robinson ain't showing up. Nobody showed up in that receiving corps. So not just on him, it's just the quarterbacks in general. All right.
Yeah, a little bit. Matt Nagy, maybe you should continue to run the ball instead of having your rookie quarterback throw it 32 times when your running back is averaging. He got 100 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, with 18 rushes. Rush him 25 or 30 times. Let him keep running the ball, man.
Yeah, like I said, that was just an embarrassing showing for an NFL team this Sunday. I was embarrassed to watch them. There's
bad. A lot of embarrassing games.
There was indeed. All right, so Fred, we're gonna talk about the fantasy leaders, but as we do that, we're gonna do the breakdown of the game. So just make some room. Here we go. With it's time. It's time for the breakdown. I didn't catch it in time, man. Sorry for our listening audience. My bad. All right, so let's talk about our fantasy leaders, and we'll talk about the games as we go along with it. I mean, again, I put little stars by the ones that were exactly right on our rankings. So again, I put Matt Stafford as the number one QB, and boom, that's who the number one QB is, at least for now anyway. The Monday night game's still going on. But right now, number one QB, Matt Stafford, 21.16 points. That game was actually really interesting, too, because I thought that was going to be blowout city.
It wasn't. It was good.
Yeah. The Lions are good.
Yeah, they just getting bad breaks.
Right. And listen, I'm going to give Dan Campbell a lot of credit because that team, it's feisty. You know what I mean? They're a feisty, scrappy bunch. It resembles him. So I really, really enjoy watching the Lions, even as bad as they've been on record wise. They're always in these games, it seems like. So yeah. Anyway, I thought you were going to fill it with that. My bad. All right. So
I was waiting for you. I was excited. I'm like, look at that.
Yeah. All good. All right. So yeah. In that, let's talk about Joe Burrow at number 2. He's our number 2 quarterback this week. Now, when we talked Sunday morning, even though the brief time you're on, we were talking about the Ravens and Bengals game. And I said, this one of those slobber knocker type games I thought maybe was going to be a field goal here, field goal there, because it seemed like it was back to the AFC North style hard-nosed game. But it started that way, and then all of a sudden the juices got loose. What are your thoughts on Joe Burrow going forward?
Joe Burrow, man, he's the real deal. He got everything he wants. He got a nice little running game with 2 decent running backs. He got Jamar Chase, who he loves. I mean, I heard where he asked them to draft him, and hey, they did, and it's working. I mean, Uzuma showed up. Higgins is still good. I mean, Joe Burrow was the real deal. He's a national champion quarterback, and he's showing why he was the number 1 pick. Great job by Joe Burrow. Over 400 yards.
Now, I did say the last show, I don't know if you're on yet, but I don't want to hear T. Higgins' name again. I mean, this guy, when's this guy? I keep hearing his name, and I've never seen him do nothing. So yeah, I'm good with T. Higgins.
Do you know T. Higgins had 15 targets and caught 7?
What?
I'm looking at it.
15 targets.
Jamar Chase had 10 and caught 8. Higgins had 15 and caught 7.
He's so tight. What was his stat line in that game?
He was 7 receptions, 62 yards. His longest was 11 with 15 targets.
So he's got 60 out of 15 targets. You made 62 yards. You made 60 yards out of 15 targets. That's embarrassing. That's totally embarrassing. All right. Listen, I couldn't even sniff the field, Mr. Higgins. So please don't take none of that personal. All right, Tua Tagovailoa. I actually ended up picking him up in another league because I had to pick him up. It was the Bipocalypse with Dak out, and he played a good, decent game. He came in for me, number 3 this week, 26-54, 4 TDs. You know what I mean? Like he made the 2 mistakes. Those were obviously very painful. But other than that, he came back, he stepped up, he came, it was a lot to Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, even though he got hurt, but he came back in, so he threw to him. Preston Williams can't catch a cold. Please get him off the field. Don't ever put him back on the field again.
Yeah, what is going on with Preston Williams?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something real quick. For a listening audience, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you better never, ever say that word to me again. I am so tired of hearing about Preston Williams. He is a preseason wonder. I want every Dolphin fan to hear that. Preseason, he's great. When he gets in regular season, he's average at best. I'm tired of hearing about him. Please don't put that man on the field again. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm so tired of hearing about Preston Williams, and every season he disappoints. All right. So again, that game was, it was a good game though. Miami held in. They got back into it. Tua showed very good signs, a lot of flashes. I was actually on a show earlier today, and I talked about Tua. And I said, the situation with Tua is very simple. Tua's that girl in high school that tries really hard. You really like her because she tries hard. You know what I mean? She likes you and she loves you. And she shows, but she's only can do so much, And here that there's the hot girl, the big, what would you call her? The queen of the whatever. Anyway, homecoming queen. There it is.
Homecoming queen.
The homecoming queen's over there sweating you. She wants you. So you're in this weird situation where you're like, man, look at that piece over there. But you don't want to lose. It's your girl. She's loyal and she does well. So that's how I feel about Tua. Just to break that down for you guys. All right, Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things, 24 points there. I mean, I don't know. What else can he say? It's Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Aaron Rodgers.
He's doing his thing. We can't really break that down too much. Tom Brady, though, that was a good game, and that was one we nailed. We had Tom at number 5. He came in at number 5 this week. It was the Bears, but at the same time, the Bears it's not the D that it used to be, and Tom Brady is definitely clicking on all sides.
Yeah, man. I don't know what the problem with the Bears. Not only do you have a rookie quarterback, the vaulted defense you used to have isn't there anymore. So you're not really in good shape now. It's you got some problems over there in Chicago.
Indeed, indeed. We knew that was going to happen in the offseason, and we had a nice conversation about that. Actually.
And it's funny because Washington is in the same boat. Where did the defense go?
Right, indeed. That's the one that was real crazy defensively. Jalen Hurts at number 6. Again, another one we nailed. We had him at 6 this week. 23 points. But again, some of the conversations that we've had and we've talked about him. As far as translation to a great NFL quarterback, I'm not quite sure yet because I kind of seen a lot of chinks in that armor this weekend. In a game that I thought he'd really go out. But again, he's with the running ability. He can get almost 100 yards any game. And they set up designs runs for him. So he's still going to be a great fantasy QB for you. So good job with him. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Jalen Harrison, man, he's doing everything that he can. I kind of feel bad for the guy because he really, really wants to win. He's exciting. And I think it's another problem with coaching. You got to run the football. It's football. Run the ball.
Exactly. Designed for you to run it. All right. Lamar Jackson, to me, MVP, bro. I don't care what anyone says. And I hate when the voting gets popularity vote. The fact of the matter is, Lamar Jackson, if there was no Lamar Jackson on the Baltimore Ravens, there would be no Ravens. There would be nothing. I mean, Lamar Jackson, but to me, MVP, putting the whole team on his back, doing whatever he can to win games. He's doing a great, great job. Number 8, Mac Jones. I mean, woo-wee. That
gave me a headache.
Listen, I want to say something real quick, too. I had the Jets in my top 10. It was funny in our league, too. In our league, our personal league, I had them early. Something told me, like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. I sure the hell
trust them.
I pulled them. I didn't pull them. I put them for the Panthers, who didn't do any freaking thing either. But at least I didn't have the Jets, who probably had negative 50 before it was over. Mac Jones being efficient, though, doing his thing. Kyler Murray's at number 9 doing Kyler Murray things. He's always in the top 10 every week. And again, this week, we talked about that a minute ago.
Yeah, he didn't have to do too much. 31-5. He was just like, let's take it easy.
It's the Texans. What can you do? Carson Wentz had a good game last night, man. A top 10 win in a torrential downpour. I mean, it was.
Oh, I watched that game. It was good.
Yeah, it was crazy. We talked about it on the morning show, what the weather was going to be like, rainy, nasty, and it sure the hell was that. But Carson Wentz still played a good game, so it was impressive to say the least.
Garoppolo better watch out for his job, man. He better really watch out for his job because that was a debacle yesterday. We'll give him this one because of the rain, but it was still your stadium. And I know you're injured.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. He came back from the injury. I feel what you're saying, but it's not like Trey Lance was any like gangbusters and he came out either. So yeah, but I feel what you're saying though. I mean, I'm with you on that 100%. All right, let's talk about the running backs. These are all PPR pointed, by the way. So DeAndre Swift led the way, 28.4 points. Great game in that line. I know, great game.
DeAndre Swift?
DeAndre Swift had a game, to say the least. It was a good one. How about Damien Harris for number 2?
I don't want to hear about the Patriots no more. God.
I love it. It's like a Patriots show today.
Between the running backs and the tight ends, look, New England's built tight ends and running backs, and all of them had a good day.
Well, look, you even see Brandon Bolden. We talked about number 4. God, I can't even believe it. Anyway, all right, number 5, Khalil Herbert, 18.3 points for the Bears. And look, that was that vaunted Bucks D, and they looked. I mean, he looked like he. So when Damien Williams was back too, but we talked about it on the show. Not somebody I would have played right away. He didn't practice for 2 weeks. So it was understandable that Khalil Herbert was going to see a lot of the carries. But when he comes back now, I think Khalil Herbert has carved a role in this whatever you want to call it. But I think he is definitely deserving of time. So again, I would definitely keep him rostered and keep monitoring how they're going to play him going forward. Jonathan Taylor, real quick, 18 points. You called him as your start. He did. He definitely put in work. I mean, we kind of knew that was going to come through this week.
We knew it. He had to run the ball. It was torrential downpours.
Right, exactly. Well, we talked about both. We didn't know what running back was going to run for 49ers. We said whoever it was, start him. It had to be Eli Mitchell. He had a good game too. It was just the weather definitely played a factor in that. We talked about this already. Myles Gaskins, 17.7. That's crazy. And PPR, Javonta Williams, 17.2 points. So a good day for him. A lot of catches. I'm starting to see a lot more usage for Javonta Williams and a lot less of Melvin Gordon. So as the weather gets colder and they want to look at these bigger backs. You want to get the bigger backs going. That's what's so exciting, not to get off point here, but that's what's so exciting about Derrick Henry. It ain't even cold yet. He's going off. Anyway, so definitely watch out for Javonta Williams going forward anyway. Leonard Fournette had a good game too, 17 points. Again, they just had a good game overall. And we talked about Kenyan Drake already with 16.9. All right, moving on to the receivers. Cooper Kupp. We said he was going to be our number 1. That's who our number 1 was. Cooper Kupp. We talked about Matt Stafford having a good game. Obviously, that meant big things for Cooper Kupp. He did great.
Cooper Kupp.
37.6 points. How about Jamar Chase? I mean, wow. Like, he went bonanzas. It was crazy. Like, I just couldn't.
Over 200 yards.
Against the Ravens. Think about that. Some quarterbacks don't even throw for 200 yards. Like, that's what's nutty about it. So what a game for him. And again, against a good Ravens defense. They're not the, back in the day Ravens, but they are definitely still
decent. Yeah.
Right. So good.
They had a good record coming in too. It was not like they had any pushovers. They're the Ravens.
Right. Exactly. And again, the Bengals are for real, man. I'm going to let you know right now, if you doubt them, there's not your granddaddy's Bengals. They are definitely here to play. I like Joe Burrow. I like the defense is what surprised me too.
Oh no, Mr. Flanders wanted to fire Zach Taylor at the beginning of the season. I think
he kept
I don't know, boy.
He was talking crazy on Zach Taylor. That's crazy. But yeah, right now, I mean, look, he might be able to coach of the dang year the way these guys are playing. So doing good stuff. Mike Evans, we talked about Tampa. We talked about Tom Brady being on, man. And Mike, it was like the touchdown machine. I just kept seeing him firing them. Boom, boom, boom. He's such a big target in the end zone. He's like basically like a tight end. So, big day for Mike Evans. Also, obviously, Antonio Brown missing caused that to obviously be a big big factor. Plus, no Gronk, so we should see Gronk, I think, this week, and Antonio Brown. So
that's why we've seen Godwin with also 8 receptions, 111 yards, and a TD. So they did their jobs, Evans and Godwin, with these 2 out.
Exactly. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. So going into next week, can you expect this production? No, absolutely not. You just don't know now. Now it's that Russian roulette of who's going to be the guy that's going to receive the targets for Mr. Terrific Tom. Number 4, I know, I love tapping myself on the back, and this is going to be one of them right here. A.J. Brown told you he was going to come back. Here he was, 27.3 points. He finally showed up. I figured it was going to be at some point going to be about time. Also talked about the ebbs and flow of the league. Derrick Henry, no way can keep on this touchdown pace. So I was like, A.J. Brown got to get it at some point. So he did do well this week, 27.3 points in that game. And what a surprising game, dude. Let's talk about that for a second. That Titans game, that Titans team also for real, finding its groove. And what's up with KC? Do you think that was more KC or Tennessee?
No, I think the first 2. I think after that Jets loss, it kind of embarrassed them, and I would be embarrassed if I lose to the Jets the way the Jets are playing. But since that day, I mean, them Titans, like, they snapped their fingers. They woke up. I mean, they're beating good teams. KC, Buffalo, like, okay, now we're playing football. Let's go.
Yeah, you just nailed it on the head. From KC to Buffalo. I mean, you just ran a gauntlet, and you took it to KC. I mean, I kept saying, I even said to Mary Jane, well, this is setting up for later. Pat Mahomes and Kelsey, and and then Kelsey Pat Mahomes got hurt.
I'm actually can't wait to see them play the Colts, because the Colts record they're better than their record. So I think there's gonna be a hell of a game.
Yeah. Oh, you're complimenting the Colts now. I just can't even believe it.
I can't believe it either. My son's a Colts fan. He's like, Colts.
What a change, man. Although Mr. Colts couldn't find the time to go down the game to the Miami game. Mr. Colts. All right. Terry McLaurin, number 5. Listen, Scary Terry, no matter what goes on in that Redskin offense, he looks like a minimum boy sometimes. So, again, I always expect him to have a good game. I don't care who the quarterback is. But I think Washington, again, there's somebody else. Why not call Cam Newton? What you waiting on? You know what I mean? Get this guy in your lineup. Like, I don't know when Fitzy's going to be back. Like, who cares? Give Cam a chance. I don't know what Taylor Heineke, he's up and downs too much. So, yeah, at least with Cam, you know what you get, at least. Chris Godwin, talked about him in number 6 already, 25.16. Deebo Samuel, again, still showing. I mean, he's like the only receiver in San Francisco right now, right? I mean, who else is there? It's definitely not Ayuk, so he's definitely
not Ayuk.
Definitely the guy to drop in that one. And from the same game at number 8, Michael Pittman Jr., 20.5 points. I mean, he looks like the real deal too. This doesn't look like a flash in the pan. He looks like he's establishing himself as a number 1 guy. So hopefully you have him, because he's somebody. And if you don't have him, if you want to package up a trade for him, he's somebody, his stock is rising, so to speak. So I would definitely be eyeing him up. Damonte Adams, number 9, but no Devonta. Oh, you Devonta owner. It's almost like you have a bye week this week, basically. So there it is, the bye week for the Packers for Devonta Adams fans. Man, I'm sorry for you on that COVID list. But again, great game, doing great things as always. Hollywood Brown at number 10, filling it out, 19 points. Again, it's Lamar's guy. What can you say? And
it's his guy. You got to play him, man.
That's it.
Got to play him. He's not a slouch. He's not a flash in the pan. That's his guy. You got to start him every time. That's it.
Yeah, until someone steps up opposite Hollywood Brown. I mean, he's money every week because he's the guy. I mean, he's always the guy Lamar's looking for, and he's the big deep play threat.
I do want to say this. It looks like Alvin Kamara is going to top that list, because they finally used Kamara like they did in previous seasons. 9 receptions, 115 yards and a TD, 15 carries, 30 yards. They're using Kamara both ways now.
They are using him tonight. Also, if you got that up since we're on it, I was going to wait till we were done and then go over. But since you got it on there, how about DK Metcalf too? He's having a good game. I've noticed that. What does he got?
Oh, DK Metcalf. He's actually performing really well. He's got one. Well, no, not really. He only got one reception but it's 84 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, wait, what? Because I thought I saw a touchdown. All right. I was like, how do you get That's all he needed. Hey, that's all you need sometimes.
But you know what's bothering me about this? What's happening with the kickers this year? I mean, they just missed another field goal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we talked about this game too. Don't forget, it's a little rainy or a little light rain. So, and there's some wind in this game. So we talked about that on the Sunday show. So my weather might be playing a little factor into it. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk about the tight ends. Wrap it up with the defenses real quick as well. And when we come back, we'll be right back.
Hey, Flander fans, this is Nick. You got Flander from TSSFantasy.com. Do you ever find yourself needing financial help and don't know where to turn, and you live in the New York area? Well, Shelton Financial Management LLC is your answer because they do all of the following: audits, reviews, and in addition to bookkeeping, business consulting, tax prep, and much more, they do it all. To contact them for your financial business needs, you can find Shelton Financial Management LLC right here on Facebook or directly at the following number, 585-376-0574, and on the web at sheltonfinancialmanagementllc.com. Shelton Financial Management LLC is our number one pick for our financial needs.
They actually threw up the Stafford Tyler Lockett tonight too on this day. And look, he had 2 receptions for like 11 yards. So we talked about that when this happened with Geno Smith. Expect the big plays, expect the money, I guess, so to speak, to DK Metcalf, the bigger target. And, Geno Smith doesn't throw a good deep ball, so you're not going to get a lot out of Tyler Lockett. All right, talking about the tight ends, CJ Uzuma, we already mentioned him already, 24.1 points. Kyle Pitts, again, he was my number 1, so he came in at number 2. I wasn't that far off, 23.3. It was funny because they were just throwing it up for him, and it was basically like, he was just one arm in it. He was just doing whatever. They couldn't had nobody to guard him, basically. So he's just a mismatch nonetheless. In the same game, Mike Gesicki, he came up big too, 21.5 points.
Wow.
It is what it is. When you have somebody not catching the ball in Preston Williams, you don't have a Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle was in and out. I mean, you got to find somebody, and Gesicki, they line him up as a receiver most of the time. So believe it or not. So not too shabby so far for him. How about Foster Moreau? How about this guy out of nowhere, the number 4 tight end this week? Freddie's like, who the hell is that?
Who the hell is that? You did some deep looking at some stats there.
No, actually, hey, this is why it pays to have the Sunday ticket. You can see all the games happening live. Not a big plug for them, but yeah, it is great. If you watch the Raiders game, no Darren Waller. So here was the guy that stepped up for them in the tight end spot. Played a great game. It was really interesting to see him step up. So it was fun to see.
Foster Moreau.
Yeah, I saw that look in your face like, who the hell is that? Wow. Robert Tonyan comes in at number 5, 16.3. Again, we talked about it on TSS Fantasy Live on that morning. Again, he was somebody to look out for as a sneaky play. As Aaron Rodgers starts to find other targets and starts to evolve this offense a little bit other than just Damonte Adams. He's somebody definitely look out for. In fact, this week, by the way, we're talking about no Damonte Adams. So taking all of that. 6, Travis Kelce, not our number 1 guy this week. So again, with Pat Mahomes going out early, obviously that played a factor in that game. 13.5 points. Goddard was a little disappointing too. I was a little disappointed in seeing him. It was finally his show. I think the whole Eagles offense was off. I just expected a big game out of him, and we just didn't see it, quite honestly. Mo Alley Cox, I just didn't have it in time, and I'm going to make a little thing for him with the big show because, I think that's cool. We dubbed him that. I like the Big Show theme song for him. He's come in the top 10 every week. He is a legit thing now. We were making fun of him after that Dolphin game of how awkward he looked, but he shows up in the top 10 every week. So somebody to watch out for. I know Mike DeStraw liked him as well. So, yeah, I definitely like him going forward.
Yeah, he took over the job from Jack Doyle. That's it. Bye, Jack Doyle.
Indeed. In fact, he's still out there, but he's just not getting the targets. Because listen, I mean, if you have somebody as big as Mo Alley Cox and you just throw it a little high and let him just, maybe get his 2-inch vertical off the ground and catch something, so not too shabby to say the least. Ricky Seals-Jones, again, still doing work. No Logan Thomas still. So again, expect good things out of Ricky Seals-Jones. And TJ Hawkinson rounds us out at number 10, 10.8.
Honorable mention, Zach Ertz.
Thank you. I did.
I'm pretty sure you're happy you got out of Philadelphia, boy.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I was wondering why he wasn't in here. I guess this was PPR. I don't know why he's not here in this top 10, but he because I thought he had a decent game too. But
3 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown should have been about 15 points.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I don't know why he's not a weird list that I got there. But anyway, Zach Ertz did have a great game. Look really good, and he got that one pass and just took it to the house. So I know everybody that if you're an Eagles fan or just a football fan in general, you like Zach Ertz. That was a good play, and you're happy for him to get that. All right, let's quickly run through the defenses. We're getting up against it. Number 1, the Buccaneers with 18 points, had a big game. Here was the surprise of the day, the Giants. The Giants defense, 17 points. I can't. Oh, my God, I'm so aggravated. I'm aggravated because you had a plethora of defenses to go after this week. There was so many different options. The Giants were nowhere near on my radar at all. Wasn't even sniffing them. And here they are, the number 2 defense this week, as the fantasy world turns for sure. The Titans at here's another one. Who is starting the Tennessee Titans against the Chiefs? I mean, who does that? But you, if you did, got the number 3 defense this week. Unfreaking real. Patriots at number 4. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, Fred. And I don't want to beat on the Jets. All right. The 5, the Colts, they came in at 12. But, again, we talked about that morning at a torrential downpour rain. You can expect defenses to show and prove. And the Colts played well defensively. So, and again, they've been getting on a hot streak overall as a team. So they are an interesting team to watch on the rise. Cardinals at number 11 played the Texans. We knew they were going to be decent, so no big surprise there. Packers, number 7, got 10 points as well. They've been a good defense so far this year as well. Seahawks, again, surprising. Why do I have the Seahawks there? I think I wrote that down because they're still playing. So I definitely wrote that down wrong. I got FT with 7 and the Browns with 7 to round off the list there. And the Browns we did put at number 10 this week. So my apologies on the list, folks. I had to do that last minute. My bad. I got probably a few little errors on there. So my bad on that. All right. All right. So we are up against it, ladies and gentlemen, and we do appreciate you. So don't forget, tomorrow night we have our special Champs and Chumps. It's going to be the Beer Bowl, Craft Brewed Sports and the Fantasy Brew Review. That's going to be so hard for me to say, especially if I have a couple beers. I don't even know how they get through it. So don't forget, that'll be tomorrow. Dr. Miller's house call tomorrow, and we'll have a few other fun things. And then we got our show, don't forget, on Friday. And, of course, don't forget to wake up with us every Sunday morning, TSS Fantasy as well. We appreciate you guys, and we are out. Do. I think we're going to stop saying that until Mike comes back on the show. How about that?
Well, he may never come back, sir.
All right, it's officially retired then. How about that?